Welcome to Behind the Audition podcast with your host, Curt Hilton. Listen in on interviews with voiceovers, filmmakers, producers, animators, and much more. Curt, a voice actor himself, will give insider tips to the business, talk with guests about how they got into the business, and be sure to stay tuned to the end of the podcast when he challenges his guests with a pop-up audition. Now it's time for Behind the Audition podcast. Here's Curt Hilton.
Welcome back to another episode of Behind the Audition podcast. On this episode, I got to speak to the amazing voice actor, Walter Scott. Walter and I talked about building your brand to separate yourself as a voice actor. We talked about how he got his first IMDb credit, knowing when you have transitioned to a full-time voice actor, marketing on social media, and a lot more. So sit back and enjoy another episode of Behind the Audition podcast. And welcome to the show, a local neighbor, I should say, right down the highway in North Carolina where I'm at here. The amazing Walter Scott. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine, Curt. Good, great to be here. Thanks for having me. I really do appreciate it. And we're neighbors. You're my neighbor to the east.
Yeah, absolutely. We both right here in the good old state of North Carolina. We actually talk through the good old social media every once in a while and keep in touch, pick each other's brain. I'm super excited to have you on here. You have a really cool story how you got into the voice acting and, building a brand, which is very cool. I love the hat. I was talking about your hat and I really enjoy seeing you build your business, for you. So let's go ahead and jump into it. First of all, what were you doing before you got into voiceover and what made you want to get into voiceover?
Yep. So I'll try to make it as short and sweet as possible. It's kind of a long story, but I'm a police officer, first and foremost by nature. That's what I do. That's my career.
I appreciate your service for that.
Thank you. Going back to around 1996, I was graduating high school back in Connecticut, where I'm from. I wanted to go the behind the scenes. I didn't want to be an actor, but I wanted to be behind the scenes, cameraman, just something to do with acting. So I went to, I say prestigious. I don't know if it's prestigious, but it's a popular, it's called the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. Went through a rigorous audition process there, ended up getting accepted. And then kind of at the last minute, went the law enforcement route. It's been 20 years now since I've been in law enforcement, but kind of the whole time in the back of my head, it's something I always wanted to do is either behind the scenes, acting, radio, something, And fast forward to a couple of years ago, one of my high school friends actually did go the radio route up in Connecticut. She was on a few different, or worked for a few different stations. Her name's Gina Scarpa, and she's on the Instagram and the social media and stuff, doing her thing. But she did a webinar of how to get into voice acting. So I said, you know what, let me try it, And halfway through, I hit the ground running. I loved it. I loved every minute of it. And it's, for me, it's like I said, it's something I always want to do, kind of, sort of. So it worked. It's not for everyone, no doubt, that's kind of the nutshell version of it.
So what made you want to jump into this full time and say, you know what, this is what I want to do. This is, because a lot of people get that fear, you'll see people on social media, you'll see people you talk to, and they're like, I'm a full-time voiceover. They're not, because they're afraid to say that they're not there yet. What
Sure.
made you know that, hey, I'm ready. This is what I'm going to do. When was that?
So, there's always going to be fear. No question, no doubt. There's to this day, there's fear, but it's just, I don't know how to explain it, but there's something that just clicks. You just know when you're ready. When, obviously budgetary and monetary, you know where you're at for your family. But it'll click. You'll start getting the regular gigs, which goes back to your marketing and all of that stuff. And you mentioned pay to play, which is great. That's certainly how I started, and I still do some pay to play stuff. But your direct marketing and your contacts are going to be huge. LinkedIn, I never thought. I've always been a big LinkedIn proponent, always,
right?
For different reasons. For my law enforcement employment, it's blown me away as far as direct marketing, and just the connections and contacts that I've made are invaluable.
Right.
So,
and you really see this too with people on social media reaching out. Like we have a pretty good group of people in the industry that, get
Absolutely.
together and talk to each other. And I think the days of when you friend somebody on a platform, they send you, hey, can I help you? And you're like, wait a minute, I'm a voiceover too. And we're kind of slimming
Yeah.
down. Occasionally, I had somebody the other day send something to me on Instagram. Hey, I can do 200 words for $5. I'm like, okay, I don't know where
Yeah.
we're misleading.
Congratulations.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on with that, but LinkedIn has been, Charlie Toro taught me this
Yes.
trick about when you connect with somebody, message them your voice, saying, thanks so much for connecting with me on LinkedIn, and tell them what you do. And it's just great connecting. Don't sell anything. I thank him for that all the time because that is building relationships. Is that the first thing you did when you started this business?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You wanted to establish a great foundation. I've got a really good friend, Paul, who's not in the voiceover business. I actually went to the police academy with him, but he's kind of big into marketing. And one of the first things he told me, especially about LinkedIn, don't ever send just a message. Anyone could do that.
Right.
If someone's birthday pops up, send them a video message saying, hey, happy birthday. Or if you're going to connect, send them a video message, because there's nothing like that interpersonal face-to-face link. And I don't do it all the time, but I try to do it as much as possible. And it's huge. I mean, it really is. And it's neat when I get them back as well. It's just a cool way to connect.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So what's some good tips and tricks that you like to utilize when you do your marketing? Because you have Walco, studios, and so it's about your brand. And that's what, like I said, I like about you, because you focus your brand. What's some tips and tricks for those want to build the brand that you can give to us?
I think that, that one there is a big one on LinkedIn. Just that, bring that personal, the personality out. You definitely want to do that. I think the biggest tip of all is, there's two biggest tips, maybe not marketing, maybe just in voiceover in general, but, just be consistent. You have to be consistent. I mean, this is a no job. I mean, we all know that. I mean, if you've done it for any amount of time, you're going to get no'd a lot. Yes is very few and far in between. And that's just the nature of the beast. So, you've got to build up a thick skin. You've got to be, you just got to be consistent. You can't let it get you down. Just keep going, keep going, keep going. I mean, there's days, as of recent, I mean, you get down. I mean, it happens, but you got to push through it. You got to market yourself and keep it going. And like everything, it goes in waves. I mean, you're going to do well for, a while, and then it'll die off. And it's just, that goes with trends, different voice trends, and what's hot now. But consistency, I think, is my biggest tip. Just be consistent.
Absolutely.
If you're going to do it, do it. Don't.
Absolutely. And my next thing I want to talk about is agents. You and I shared an agent at one time, and for those wanting to get an agent, what would you recommend for those looking for agents? Because there's a bunch out there, and then I think it's like you having a business and you interviewing employees. I look at them as employees, agents. What would you tell those wanting to get an agent, and what would you look out for?
I guess to preface it, I'd say, listen, before you start looking for agents, you need to make sure that you're solid. You don't want to waste your time or the agent's time. And if you're not ready, you're not ready. And again, you'll know when you're ready. I think. But when it's time to go looking for agents, I have a good demo. And that was one of my other tips that I'm sure is brought up all the time. And I'm guilty of it when I first started. Don't self-produce demos. My gosh. And when I did mine, I thought it was the best thing since sliced bread. But my gosh, I listen to it now and I cringe. I absolutely cringe. And anyone you talk to is going to say the same thing. Don't self-produce. So get trained, practice every day, get a good produced demo, and then when you're ready for that agent, will make it all the better. There's, I would say, probably millions of agents across this country. Look at your local first. I mean, I guess it just depends what you want to do. If you want to do international, but just do your research, do due diligence, be ready, and go for it.
Absolutely. And, my next topic is, I was just talking to Mark Scott. I was talking to this beforehand. Voiceovers want the sexy projects. They want the commercial in video games and everything. When you started out, what was something big that you like were doing a lot of? Like, what kind of projects were you working on when you first started?
A lot of e-learning stuff, a lot of corporate stuff. I mean, I think probably everyone kind of does that.
And he said
Because
that's the ones that pay the bills. That's the ones that pay the bills, like
absolutely,
the bread and butter.
absolutely, yep. And I'll never knock pay to play. I mean, there's a lot of people that are completely against it. Now, Fiverr, I don't know about that. But but the regulars, voices.com, voices 123, all that good stuff. I mean, there's a time and a place for them, and they've been good to me.
Absolutely. So, and I was talking to somebody about Backstage. He just bought Voice 123, Mandy.
Yep.
Where do you think the pay to play industry is going? Do you think it's going to be like, around a lot longer than we think it is? I know everybody doesn't like to say the two words AI or, and two letters.
That's scary. Yeah. That's scary.
But do you think that the freelance sites will be here for a while? Do you think that's going to be, everybody's going to start wanting to build their own brand just in case a lot of these go away?
I think it will. I mean, yeah, I think it will stick around. It's kind of, we're in a very interesting time now with COVID. So it's kind of, I know everyone wants to do it. This is kind of, it's trending now. I know a lot will die off. Because again, it's not, voiceover is not for everyone. I mean, it's not all certainly, and I know this. It's not as glamorous as people make it out to be. I mean, it's work. It's a lot. It's constant training, constant work, constant no. Being told no. So, but I think, like I said, I think there's a time and a place for pay to play, and I think it's going to be around for a while, for good or bad. I mean.
Absolutely. And so you have done some character voices. So what's one of your favorite characters you voiced?
I'm not a character. I mean, it's probably my biggest.
You got a good credit.
I definitely have to work on it. I definitely I'd have to work on it. The one character thing I did was kind of that it was a temerity project.
Yeah.
With Eugene Leon, Russian Yeti, he goes by on social media. He was a tremendous guy, tremendous talent. And that was kind of an awesome project that actually got me IMDb credits.
Yeah.
So that was the only character thing I've really done. I stay away from them because I know it's not my strong suit.
But you do good. I think you do really well at it. I think
really?
I think you have a niche for it. Yeah, I think, and that's the thing. When people get into this, I think you just said it. You did a lot of e-learning. I get a lot of those e-learning narration, and I mean, I'll take it, but I'm still like so driven and goal driven for like commercial promo. But it's like, sure. But you know what? You have that ready to go voice for commercials. Yeah. And commercials, but characters. And so, you said you don't think it, but how did you land that one?
The temerity?
Yeah.
Instagram. I mean, social media is another great thing now. Just interacting with different people on Instagram and came across with Eugene and he liked my voice and just had a spot for him. I think initially he had me, he visualized me doing another part, and then just kind of as the project wrapped up, it didn't fit for there, so he put me somewhere else. And it's a very small, minute part, but extremely proud and to be a part of it. And it was a neat project, and some other great talent that was involved in that. Contacts. It's all about, life is about contacts, but certainly in voiceover in this realm or world we live in is huge. Just being able to network and just how I met you, it's cool. It's cool.
Absolutely. Thing. So let's talk about an audition you bombed. Have you had one you ever bombed? Like after you're done, you're like, oh my gosh. But you thought you did well and you just bombed.
Yeah.
What's one you can remember that on top of your head?
Like a live, like a Source Connect kind of thing?
Yeah.
It happens. I can't really pinpoint one, but I have no shame. Listen, I'm honest with myself. It definitely happens. But again, I think that's what, everyone's human. You're going to make mistakes. You just have to pick up and start over and don't. I guess when I first started, I was really bad at it. I'm still bad at it. I'm getting better at it. But when you're in a live audition, or when you're when you're doing like a Source Connect audition with a client, you gotta. I mean, if you mess up, you just kind of gotta start over and go with it. You can't like, damn it, or So it's just unprofessional, and I'm still guilty of it, and I get told all the time. Not by the client, but other coaches. Gotta just relax and let it go. So again, that's just something I work on. But as far as one, I can't think of one to pinpoint, but it happens. I've definitely bombed my share.
See, I was a big class clown, and one thing
Yeah.
to get rid of my anxiety. I mean, I'll be open. I have anxiety. I get anxious. Like
Sure.
I don't like confrontations at all. I don't
Sure.
like, so I have that anxiety for it. I walk into a room just to get out. I'm like, hey, everybody. Like when I met you, to get the nerves out, and there's people I talk on here. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm talking. So instead of getting that, I'm like, hey, what's going on? Like I've known it for 20 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I had a live direction for a local business here, and I had to, and I couldn't see him. So you can't see him. So, and the client's sitting around the table.
Sure.
And
Sure.
so-and-so from so-and-so, and you're like, oh my gosh, he's sitting over there. I can't see him, but I can hear him. And it was for a Southern accent. And so I'm talking like this, and goes, and I think he was kind of confused, like, wait a minute, so this guy's doing an impression of the voice. And so I had to go into character, just close my eyes, and I just shook it off. And
yeah,
I love live direction. I think it's just kind of cool because, you know what I mean? That feeling. But so, starting your business, you have this really cool thing you do with the Walco Studios coffee cups. Talk about what, why you started the trading. I gotta trade you. That's such a cool idea. Like, networking that way.
And I got to be completely honest up front. That's not my idea. That's Troy Hudson. I'm sure you've heard of him. He's definitely around. I think he started it. I don't know, to be honest with you, but he's who got me into it.
Yeah.
To be honest. And again, I got to give Troy Hudson credit for that. Just COVID times, everyone's depressed and everyone's, I think, whether he started or someone else started, it was good for a good reason, just to kind of break up the monotony and do something cool for each other. And, we as voice actors and certainly in this industry, for the most part, I've been in law enforcement. I just worked with teams. I've never seen such a, what's the word I'm looking for? Just such a supportive group of people.
Yeah.
There's no, and I don't want to say there's no backstabbing, but for the most part, everyone is just so helpful. I mean, I remember my first year, just reaching out to different people and without hesitation, for the most part, right. They just, helped me with whatever they could. But anyway, so whether or not Troy started, I don't know, but just to break it up and trade mugs with, because we all have, and I'm from the north, so I call it tchotchkes, so just like stickers and mugs and stuff. We all have them,
Is that a Jersey word? Why not the tchotchkes? Is that a Jersey word?
I think it may be.
Because I got a lot of tchotchkes. I hear that you have tchotchkes on the wall.
Yeah.
Oh, that is awesome.
So yeah, but it's a cool thing. I've done it. I've got a pretty cool collection of mugs from all different people and from all over the world, actually. So it's pretty cool.
So cool. That is so cool. Yeah. I probably have no room in mine because I have like a gajillion. If I buy one more coffee cup, I think everybody's gonna be like, "Where's room for me?" So,
well, it's funny because I've got probably probably between upstairs and downstairs, probably 100 different coffee mugs, and I typically use the same one. It's a diner coffee thing from Connecticut. So
that's awesome.
Whatever.
That is awesome. So, are you a musician as well?
I'm not. I've got a couple guitars. I play guitar a little bit, but I'm definitely no musician.
I think most voice actors that I meet, they either can sing or they dabble in playing an instrument. I play the ukulele, which is not that exciting.
No, that's actually pretty cool. Something I want to learn.
Oh my! It's way easier than guitar because I don't have the finger placements for guitars. I get so frustrated, and I hear your fingers do get used to it. The ukulele, I can just sit outside in the front porch. Hopefully, I'm not annoying my neighbors, but just jam out that way. So what's some big projects that you're working on right now? For your business that you can talk about.
I can't really talk about much, to be honest with you, because of those pesky NDAs. I don't got much to really talk about. I hate that. I'd love to be able to.
It's no worries. That's no problem. Now, one thing that I do want to talk about is social media and like TikTok and Twitter and Facebook. I really don't use Facebook anymore. I don't know why I even say Facebook, but Instagram.
Yeah.
What do you think about auditions on? I bring this up every last couple of episodes. What's your thought of auditioning on social media?
Can't say I've had any.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and I'll be honest with you, I am not a big TikTok person. I just haven't got into it yet. I know that's trending and I know it's very popular. I did a couple things on there, but I just haven't really maintained it. But I haven't had any auditions on there, so I can't really speak of that. I mean, are they like clients are reaching out to you and doing?
Yeah, so not really reaching out. So there's a new trend, like I think it's Saturday Morning TV had one. I'll give them a little plug on this one. They had a character. They'll put a character up, and you read the script, and then you audition for them, and then you might land the role. And they have shows on YouTube that they might get a pilot pickup, which is really cool. And the reason why I ask is I see people on other platforms, they're a little concerned about that, putting yourself out there. But you really do that anyway, right? People put their content on social media. I do corny stuff on social media. I'll do normal stuff. But I forgot who it was who said it. If you're not being seen, how can you be found? And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's amazing.
A good point. That's probably in marketing 101 somewhere, but that's true. I mean, video, especially with social media, videos, pumping out content, which is a job in and of itself sometimes, right?
Right.
Right. And I'm guilty of probably not being as active as I should be. But, it happens. Life happens. Absolutely.
Well, now it's time to have some fun. We're going to have the audition challenge. And I sent something fun your way. I think you're going to like this one. It's sent to your chat room. Did you get it?
I did. So if I open that chat, and I'm old, so don't laugh at me, but if I open my chat, I'm on my phone. So if I open my chat, it doesn't mess with the video, right?
Nope. You're good to go. If it does, then it's good. So this one, I like to write some fun copy each week. And I did like, being in the law enforcement, I think this would be kind of cool for you. Like an action kind of thriller trailer. So if you want to, whenever you're ready, go ahead and take it away.
All right. This summer, Mac is back and he wants revenge. They took his family, so he's tacking them down. You don't want to miss Mac Attack. Mac will get his family back, only on CBA.
Yes, that's awesome, man.
That's a funny one. That's good. I like that.
Well, every week I'll like I said, with TikTok, Instagram, I write my own copy. And I think it's important for voice actors to write their copy. That's one thing I first did when I got into voiceover. I was a salesman for a local radio station, and we were taught to write copy, because when you go to a business, you meet them, they're gonna be like, well, what would a commercial sound like? I'm like, okay. I went back and I'm like, next time I do that, and they ask that question, write copy and read it to them. And sure enough, the person's like, oh my gosh, you should do my voiceover. And I started doing them. So
look at that.
Writing copy, I think, wouldn't you agree, is something that everybody should learn?
Well, it gives you an understanding. Yeah. I mean, it gives you understanding of, absolutely. Yeah, important.
Excuse me. Yeah. Before I let you go, I always ask this cliche question. What is something that you would have told yourself, or somebody getting into this business, that you would have changed, or something you recommend to do getting into this industry? Just one thing? Or as much as you want to tell me.
I'm telling you, the biggest thing, and it sounds silly, and maybe it's cliche, don't self-produce your demo. And I think people told me that getting into it, and I can do this. I got this. I've got the knowledge, and don't self-produce. Simple as that. I don't care how good you are. You don't know. Well, I guess you don't know what you don't know, but I'll leave it at that. Don't self-produce. And just soak up every bit of knowledge. If someone in the industry tells you something, they've been through it. So just soak it up. Do as many workshops. I try to do workshops as much as I can. I mean, I'll do, and I'm going to give a plug to Roger Leopardi. He does tremendous. He's a tremendous voice actor. He's a tremendous friend and mentor, but he does great workshops, and there's a bunch of them, TVA and Real Voice LA. But look up education and train. It's a skill. It's an art. Practice. Yeah.
Great. That's great feedback. Cool. And I appreciate it. And again, thank you so much for coming on, because I think it's important to, talk to those who are building a brand. And I know in 5 years, they always say your business 5 years, but I know in 5 years, your business, you're going to have many voice actors working for you, because that brand is very, very, very good. And Walter Scott, thank you so much for being on Behind the Audition podcast.
Man, I really appreciate it. Let's catch a Whalers game sometime.
Oh my gosh. Caniac fans listening. That's for those who don't know. Here in Raleigh, it's funny. Anytime you see, if you see somebody wearing a Whalers jersey, everybody gets all like mad about it. I'm from St. Louis, so it really doesn't bother me. You know what I mean? So, but I got, after the Blues won the cup, I kind of got my closure, and because I've been in Raleigh for 11, almost 12 years, and hurricanes, they grow on you. And I tell you what, the big jerks thing, that thing makes you love them more. It makes you love them more. And definitely, we'll definitely catch a game sometime. And thank you so much for all the knowledge you give on social media, and just, thanks for being you, Walter.
Thanks for having me, Curt. I really appreciate it.
To find out more about Walter Scott or to book him for a project, visit walcostudio.com.
Thanks for listening in on Behind the Audition podcast, made possible by Hilton Productions. If you need a male or female voiceover, contact us at hiltonproductions.com. Hilton Productions, let our voices do the selling.